Okay, hello everybody. I do believe we're live. At least that's what it's telling me. So hello. Sorry, I'm just doing the last few steps on the first card. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I apologize for the last few steps here that you'll see twice. So thank you to all of my subscribers. We reached that little goal that I had of 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I know that's not a big number, but like I put in my post, everybody starts at 0, right? And you can't get to 1,000,000 without hitting 100. Not that I ever think I'll really get to 1,000,000, but that's a different conversation. So, as a thank you for getting to 100, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And then it dawned on me when I saw the wow card that we're going to do today. I was like, oh, that would be perfect. And what if I do a wow card every week for the month of December? So that would be 4 wow cards. That would normally not be on the videos, and hopefully you guys will think that that is a great reward, I guess you would say, for joining me. So if you are here for the first time, my name is Michelle. I am the person behind Crafters Northwest, and thank you for being here. The products that I use are close to my heart, and you are welcome to use those or whatever else you'd like to use when you're inspired to make projects that I show you. So thanks for letting me stumble through all of that. Sorry, I got distracted by my husband's phone call. All right, so let's get started tonight, shall we? Sorry, needed a quick drink there. So I have checked my sound. My sound looks good, and I can see myself. I've been told that I have sound, so we are good to go. This is the first card. It uses the Silver Bells paper packet, and this is going to be something different than what you would expect, I think. So right away, we're different. This is the back side of the card, right? But pink and brown, it's a good combination. And here is our card. And so we have a couple different things happening here. But it's a happy birthday card because there are people who have December birthdays. I have actually a good number of people that I know that have December birthdays, and they don't necessarily want red and green birthday cards. So I thought this was perfect. And you could totally swap this out and have it be a blue paper and maybe just a white daisy snowflake instead of a glitter snowflake. And you have a guy card. You know what we should do? We should add a little bit of bling. Oh, they all fell out. Alright, we could do pinks or whites or actual bling. Let's go with pinks. Alright. So let's add this on here right quick, and then we can... Oh, that one's missing some. I don't think stars would work very well on this particular card. So let's start with the largest piece. I love these dots. Adhesive backed, ready to go. I want to put one on the glitter, but I don't think it's going to stay very well. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm not going to put those back in the package because we're going to use those again. All right, what do we have going on here? So we have an envelope, but we're not using the card base. We are creating a card base. So we have our envelope. We have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 because we have an inside. Voila. All right, what else do we have? We have a little piece of twine. We have a card base. So this is ballerina cardstock. It is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. We have a piece for our envelope flap. We have, I'll come back to this piece. We have 3/8 by about 5 1/2, 3 by 3. So the stripe paper is all from the Silver Bells. We have a 2 by 4 and some white glitter paper. And I did put the adhesive sheet on the back of it before I cut it, so it's going to be really easy to attach. And then let's see. These actually were literally just scraps in my drawer, so 1/2 inch by 3 inches. Perfect. And that's it. That's all we need. Right? And we're going to have some easy fun stuff. So let's, if you watch, you know that we like to do the envelope first. Unlike what the video would have showed you, I do actually like to do that first, especially on video, because that way it has a chance to dry before we do anything with it. I have had in the past where I glued down my my envelope paper. Oh, I did not do that very well. Alright, it is what it is. But I got it right to the edge, so cool. But as I was saying, I've had it happen in the past where I will glue it, and then when I go to cut it, it shifts and then dries instantly. And so it makes it really hard to do anything with. Alright, let's stamp our greeting. Oh, and let me show you we are using the greeting from the Occasional Greet. Stampin' Thin Cuts is what I have here. Obviously, we're just using the sentiment and some toffee ink. And we're just going to use our little foam sheet. So you get one of these in every single stamp set that you get. And so you can just use this. Excuse my head if it shows up. But you can use this to stamp on. That's why they are included. You don't have to have anything else. Just your stamp set, a block, and some ink. All right. Let's do one more thing before we start gluing things together, and that is some embossing. And we're going to do some dry embossing. And let me bring up the card again to show you. So here you can see we have some dry embossing. And then you can get different looks with different pressures. Rotate the card maybe if I take up the whole screen. All right, let's see if we can bring in a different color, if that will help. A little bit. It still wants to be fuzzy. It's because of how light this color is. So you can see there we go. Different amounts of pressure will give you different looks. So I'm going to move these out of the way. And so we are going to take our die and we're going to take our paper and we are going to use our plates. Now this is a smaller set than what we have in the book, but it is from the manufacturer of our embossing machine, embossing and die cutting machine. So what you will need is a mat. This is a silicone mat. You cannot get through us, but you can get through most other craft stores or websites or whatnot out there. And it's just a rubber mat. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put this down on our, on our mat. We're going to put our paper down. And then we're going to put our thin cut kind of where we want it to be. Okay. And for this particular instance, it doesn't have to be perfect, which is the best part. And then we're going to put our heavy, our thicker piece on top of that. And then we're going to run it through the machine. So I currently have this set on letterpress 2D emboss on -1 press and twist, right? And this went through super simply, right? There was no, I could not feel it at all. Like if I was die cutting, it would have done nothing. But look how fun is that? Now you can spritz with water if you would like beforehand, and sometimes that will help. And let me actually do that this time. So I'm just going to, I don't want to get it everywhere, so I'm just going to spritz with water. You can kind of see dots on there. I'm actually going to spritz once on the back. And it's just a water bottle. Okay, so this is not like soaking wet. I am going to flip this over though because some water kind of, splashed back. And you can see my paper is curling because it's a little bit wet. That's okay, because it will flatten out. Let's scoot this down. I don't want it to come off the mat. And just run this through. Maybe. Maybe not. So I have this on letterpress 2D, and then down here I have it at -1. Alright, and let's see how that did. Excuse all of the cat hair. So this one flattened out a little bit because we ran it back through. So let's actually do that again. Just do a quick pass through, and that will kind of knock down those middle pieces a little bit. So where there was cracking, you can't really see that anymore. Okay. And now we can assemble everything. Right, this is a super fast and easy card. So if you have not done your Christmas cards yet, this would be a perfect way to do that. Or if you wanted to bulk up on your birthday cards. I know I said Christmas because it's a Christmas paper, and this would be a really nice Christmas design as well. So this card is inspired by Julie Davidson, and yeah, it's super simple. Best part about it. And if you want to pop up more things than I did, right? I didn't pop up very much stuff, which is unlike me. But I wanted to kind of keep it a simple card. Alright, so we are just going to center this as best as we can because we are just eyeballing it. Alright, so because we did not spray a ton, this will be super easy to do. And I'm just gonna make this a little bit easier for you guys and use some of these longer strips on here. So these are the slimline shaker and window cards. Window shaker acetate. Oh my goodness. What are these called? Shaker, window foam, and acetate. Slimline. Because there's a few different versions. So you get you get 5 sheets of foam. So these fit on the slimline cards, and then the inside are cut as well, so you could do other things. And then you also get the acetate to be able to make it a shaker card. Oh, I forgot what I'd peeled off already. And then just kind of choose which one you want on top and bottom. And we're just gonna center this as well. Now the piece of adhesive sheet that I had was not quite long enough, so you won't be able to tell, but it literally, these last 2 little Y's have no adhesive on them, which is fine. I do want to put this on kind of at an angle, and so I'm going to kind of put it where I think I want it, and then I am going to peel back the backing until about here, and then I'm going to cut that so that the pieces that overhang don't get stuck down to the card. Right, so I'm just going to trim that off, and that's not that you can actually glue it on anywhere, but that is kind of a fun thing to use. It's not quite sparkly, but it's a little bit shiny. You could use like a little mini attacher, mini stapler, and glue that on as part of a cluster. That would be super fun. All right, and just attach that. And then this I'm going to pop up right here. And it's not quite, okay, it is wide enough if I center things correctly for one of these squares on each side. But I know that on my sample, oh, this will work this time. On my sample, I wasn't quite centered, so I had to cut one of these. Happy birthday. So if you wanted, you could pop that up, maybe use a layer of the thin foam on top, and that would pop it up a little bit more. All right, last 2 steps for the card itself is I just have some twine here. And we're just going to tie a bow. Now, if you hold the knot in the center when you're loosening, okay, loosening is not the right word, when you're pulling the loops smaller, then it helps keep the twine from unraveling, creating those weird twisty loopy things, right? You know what I'm talking about. The things that nobody likes. All right, so we want about here. All right, so I'm not going to keep the short one, I'll keep the longer one. And then I'm going to grab a micro glue dot. And this one, I know I'm weird, but this is the first one I've had in a long time that the glue dots are on the piece coming off and not on the roll itself. I don't like it. But I know I'm weird and everybody else likes it the other way. Likes it this way. Alright. So I just kind of bunched it up into kind of a little squished log. And put it on the back of my bow. So I can just attach my bow like that. Fabulous. The card itself is done. Let's trim the envelope and then we'll be done with card 1. Super simple. Do you guys like to decorate your envelopes? Oh, and then I almost forgot the dots again. Voila. And that, my friends, is card number 1. What do you think? Easy peasy? All right. Let's move on to card number 2. Again, we're going to use the Silver Bells paper. We're going to use some charcoal inks. Oh, and look at these dots. Oh my gosh. These things I have no doubt are going to sell out. Look at how fabulous these are. So iridescent and shiny. Beautiful. So these are the Silver Bells dots. So they match with the paper. And then we are going to use the Evergreen Card Making Workshop stamp set for this card and the next card, actually. And so this is the stamp set that comes with the Evergreen Card Making workshop. That's the only way you can get it. You cannot get it separate. And it has the stamps and these thin cuts. So a pine cone and a pine branch. All right. So let's see here. Let me tell you all the pieces and their sizes. Well, actually, let me show you the card. Right, you might like that. So we have our envelope, just like before. And here is the card. You see a little bit of silver foil there. So that is our card. And if I do this, you can see the actual little mechanism back here and how that works there. So let's look at our pieces here. So we have, of course, our card base and envelope. So these are from the value set. And we have our piece for our envelope. I don't give sizes because they seem to vary so much. So some of them are 1 3/4 all the way up to 2 1/4 inches. So you'll want whatever fits the envelope that you're using. I don't want you to cut it at one size and have it be too small and then get angry at me. So measure your envelope before you cut that piece. Every time, not just one time. All right, we have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of silver bells, and this one actually, the paper itself is kind of semi-designed to be able to go any which way, sort of. I guess not exactly, because the bells, always kind of need to go the right direction. Although I did not do that on this page, but it doesn't look terrible. But you could turn your card and do this. However, you wouldn't really have a way to display it because that wouldn't work very well. So, but because of how much stuff we'll have on it, this one will be fine, just like that. So definitely something to pay attention to, or we could use the backside this time and kind of see how that looks. Actually kind of like that, so we might try that just so we can have something a little bit different. All right, other pieces. We have 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. We have a mat that is 3 by 4, and then we have trying to give these to you in the right way. So this is 4 1/2 by 3. This is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And this one is 3 by 2 1/4. All right, so we have a very little bit of scoring that we need to do. So we need this tiny 3 by 2 1/4 piece, and also the card base. Okay, so let's move this off to the side. Let's go ahead and glue the envelope before we continue. I've started folding this way so I can just kind of butt up to it. It works generally pretty good. Except, of course, the last time, the previous card, I didn't squish it quite far enough. I know it sounds like I'm putting a ton of glue on here, but I'm really not. Okay. So we need our scoreboard. And we are going to open our card base and then score it at 2 1/8. 2 1/8. So that's all the scoring we're doing on that piece. Now on this piece, we want our 3-inch piece at the 3-inch side along the top, and we are going to score at 3/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/4. Alright, scoring is all done for this card. Alright, so let's go ahead and fold and burnish on all of these bits and pieces. And the reason that we opened this is because the bump that is created when you score your cardstock is what you want to be on the inside of the fold, right? So if we had scored this card base at 5 1/2, we would have scored on this side so that the raised bump is on the inside. Okay. Now, I am going to use some score tape to put on here. However, you can use some liquid glue, which obviously you would not put on just yet, but it is up to you. I would use something stronger than just your tape runner, just because it's a moving mechanism, so it is going to move essentially constantly. Alright, so I have 2 sizes. You don't have to use 2 sizes. What you use is up to you. So I am going to put tape on the outside 2 rectangles, and I'm going to do right next to the score line. So if you want, you can just do 1. If you're going to do just 1, do it next to the score line. You can do 2, and they don't have to be different sizes. It can be the same size. It can be 1 that's large enough to go across the whole way. Up to you. Okay, and then we want to put more score tape on only one of the inside spots. Okay. Now, again, if you are using liquid, you would not do that yet. That piece. And liquid would work just fine. Okay. Make sure to burnish that on really well. All right, now let's do our stamping, and then we can move on to the rest of what we need to do. So we're going to stamp on the 2 white daisy pieces. And so on the larger piece, we are going to stamp Merry and Bright in our charcoal ink. That totally looked like a calculator with these on top of it. My brain. Goodness. Protective sheet. Sometimes helpful, sometimes not so much. I will clean that later. All right, let's try that again. My misty sock. Perfect. So we're done for the inside, and now on the outside, we're gonna stamp May Your Days Be in this bottom left corner. Of course, I just got ink all over my fingers. Okay. Done with our stamping. That was easy. Okay, so we are going to use the sticker sheet. However, I've used these ones, so I obviously can't use those same ones again. However, we do have some other options. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in another piece of acetate. And I do put the washi tape on them so I can find them on my desk later because, I mean, they're clear, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down and I'm going to grab the pieces that I might want to use. And I'm not going to push down very hard on them because obviously I want to be able to get them up again. And then I have another little bell up here. You could use this guy here, or, you know, any number of things. You could do this so many different ways. Okay, now I need a pencil. I was going to use black pen, but there's no black in this whole thing. And so I didn't want to do that. So I decided just to use pencil. And I thought it just went so well with the whole thing that that's what I decided to go ahead and do. All right, so that this doesn't move, I'm just going to put a tiny bit of adhesive on the back and realign kind of where this is. And I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to hold it, I'm actually going to hold it down a little bit on the ornament, so kind of where the cap meets the ornament itself. I'm not actually on the sticker, I'm just right above it. And then I'm going to move my acetate, but keep my pencil where it is. And then I'm just going to create a line. Right? Super simple. So line things up again. I'm going to go here in the center of this bow for the bell. Oh, that's okay. A, it will be covered up anyway, but B, because we're using pencil, if it's not, then I can just erase it. All right.
Which of our cards works at the gas station right here?
Mm-hmm.
Let David use it.
Okay. All right. And then the next thing I did is I actually took my pencil and marked the string on the ornaments. That one. Again, another bonus of using pencil. Would have been better if I just kept using the ruler, but of course I did not. Now for the bow, I'm not going to put a pencil line into the bow, but I am going to put one just on the white part of the sticker. Right? And it makes sense. Now I have managed to move things a little bit, but that's okay because we're going to take it off the sheet to put it onto our piece. One second here. So now we're just lining up our lines. And sticking everything down. And if your fingers are too big, like mine, use a tool. We got plenty available. Alright, and that is our little centerpiece for our card. So let's glue everything together. So we need these 3 pieces. So let's just go ahead and might as well just add the glue to all of them. Oops. At the same time. We are going to use the other side. So we are just going to center these. As best as our eyeballs will allow. And then just decide which way is up. Alright, so we have kind of a nifty card already. Now we need to do our mechanism. So when you glue this down, you're going to take off the backs here, and we're going to line up the score line that's in the center with the one that's in the center of our card. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is, if you're using liquid glue, it's actually a lot easier because your glue will move a little bit, right? Oh my. Goodness. So I am going to peel these just part way, and I'm going to bend them so they're off to the side, so that I can line things up before I press anything down and get it where I want it. So I want it centered top to bottom, kind of as best as I can. Right, so I'm going to hold it, I'm going to press down what's the glue that's exposed, and then I'm going to pull out these pieces. Now if you've done like I did, you want to make sure that your middle piece that has glue is on the 2-piece side, not the 1-piece side. And then you can do the same thing. You can open it up and do the same thing on the other side. No, we want this to go that way. But you want to make sure everything is lying flat before you press and remove anything. Alright, so this should pop out. And now we have our mechanism. Sorry, something changed on my screen. I needed to move so I could see it. Okay. Now, we're going to take our larger white piece and we are going to peel off I don't know what I did to this tape today, but it just wants to be difficult. Okay, so obviously don't close it after you have opened up your glue. So you want to center this card top to bottom as best you can, and it might be easier to do that this direction. And even if it's not centered, that's okay. It just looks a little bit better centered. So I have this edge touching my card, and I'm just going to slide it down until it's touching and it's essentially lined up, and then I'm going to press. Okay, so there is that. Now let's attach this. Then depending on your choice of anything, you can use liquid glue. You can use this glue to attach. We're going to glue only at half. Obviously, we're going to glue it to the front panel. I am going to go ahead and use a little bit more of this double-sided tape. And I use this block just because it's so easy to use. So you want to make sure that you're putting your tape, your glue, whatever adhesive on the correct half of your piece. I'm going to do it just inside of half so that I know it's all good. Burnish, and we're going to do that trick again where we're going to kind of actually going to pull one to one side and the other to the other side. Shush. That would be Otis. Okay, so this tape did pull up a little bit, so I'm just going to pull that off. So I'm going to hold down the card base. I'm going to kind of center on this piece. I know that the Y sticks out. That is why that dot is strategically placed. Make sure, and then I can just pull from the back side and pull from the front side and give everything a press, and presto changeo, our card is done. So I think I'm going to do some white ones on this card because I couldn't decide when I was putting it together in the first place which ones to use. I just stabbed myself. So we're going to put one underneath here so we hide that tail. I want to keep adding them, but I don't get nearly enough of them in a package to keep doing that. All right, let's trim our envelope, and then we will be done with card number 2. Voila! We have card number 2. And I know it doesn't have any foam tape, and that's okay too, because you're getting kind of 2 fun folds tonight, but this one's much easier than the next one. But the next one is easy, it just has more steps. Fun and fabulous. You'll have to let me know which one you like better, which background do you like better, and then which dots. And do you think the dots would make a difference if I had a different background? Okay. Moving on to our wow card. You guys, oh my gosh, you are going to love this. So, my sample card does not use the stamp set and whatnot, but we are going to use this stamp set on the one we're making. Okay? In theory, we might just use stickers because I do have the stickers, and I have the compliments. We are going to use the evergreen paper packet for it. And here are the stickers. So fun. So I'm sure we will use a combination of things. All right, let's move this and this. There we go. All right, so turn my page so I can give you guys all of the correct measurements. Oh, the previous card was inspired by Doreen, and it is called a double-decker pop-out card. All right, so let's move this. So this one is done by Samantha of Mixed Up Craft. I love her stuff. She does fabulous stuff. Extra over the, I don't want to say over the top because that makes it sound bad. It's not bad. It's fabulous. And it's over the top. I need to fix that corner. So we are going to make a 5x7 card. So this is the envelope, obviously. And this is actually the back side of the card. And this part here serves 2 purposes. One, it serves as the stand for the card, and 2, it serves as the writing space for the card. Okay, so this is the card all closed up, but it does this. Whoop. So let's see how well it looks on camera. Alright, so this is essentially directly straight down under the camera. So you have a top view. Okay, so if we turn it to the side, I'll close up the back part. Okay, so that is the side view. And this is the front view. How fabulous is this? So, the reason that we're not doing this card, papers and stuff, is because the embellishments are not available anymore. The paper, all of the paper, and this paper is all available, including the stickers. But the balloons are part of the compliments. The Yay acrylic and the Celebrate are all part of the acrylic embellishments, compliments. Goodness gracious. And so you guys know I try to show you how to do the cards in stuff that is currently available, because I don't want you guys to have FOMO, even though my sample might give you FOMO. But you might have this. So if you have this, you can totally do this. And I will, even though we aren't going to use these in our card that we're going to make, I will show you how to do them. And Samantha does show in her video how she does them. I decided I needed to do it different because hers is rolled, right? Because they're meant to make kind of like tassels. But here's that paper. Oh, I just blinded myself with it. So this is the Dreamy holographic paper. And this literally is the size that you need to make these. And so she rolls it. And so the backside is white. So half of the little tassels are white, and I wanted them to not be. And so I came up with a slightly different way. So yeah, this is our fun card that we're gonna do. I love it. I hope you guys love it. It's actually easy. I promise you, it's easy. She does have a few things incorrect size-wise on her blog post, and I have not gotten a chance to message her about that, but I do plan on doing that. And she might already know and might not fix it. I don't know. Okay, so I am going to write these out as I tell you, just because I think it will be easier for you. I will put them in the information on the video as well. All right, so what do you need? So we need our main color cardstock, right? In this case, it's White Daisy, right? Both for the sample card and for the card that we're making, okay? So you need a piece that is 9 by 4.5. You need a piece that is 5 by 2. A piece that is 3 by 1. A piece that is 6 1/4 by 3. And you need 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 7. Okay? Simple so far. So for next, we need our mats. And these are 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, 1 3/4 by 4 3/4, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. 1 3/4 by 4 and 1/4. And then if you, so in this card, the charcoal is the matte, right? It's the matte color. So I did not put one here, but if you wanted to, I can't remember if I cut a piece for it for our card. I think I did. This one is 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay. And then for our background and texture paper, i.e. the pretty paper, we need 4 by 5.5, 1.5 by 4.5, 1.5 by 4, and 2 that are 1 7/8 by 6 3/4. And that is that. Okay, so these are all of the sizes that you need. I will turn that so it's easier to see. So if you want to screenshot that, you can do that. Okay. This envelope out of the way over here. So we are going to move all of our mats and all of our pretty paper. And we need our biggest piece, our 9 by 4.5. We need our 3 by 1. And our 6 1/4 by 3, and only one of our 4.5 by 7. Okay, so these other two pieces, it would have been shorter to do it the other way. But so 4.5 by 7 and 5 by 2 we're setting aside, and we need to pull out our scoreboard. All right. So our 9 by 4.5, we are going to score at 1, and then we're going to flip it and do 3. This plays into the mountain valley folds and the which direction the bump goes into that we just talked about on the last card. On the first card, rather. No, last card. Sorry. Alright, next, 4.5 by 7. And we are going to score at 2 1/8. So this is 6 1/4 by 3, and we are going to score at 1/4, 1 1/4. And 5 1/4. Okay, and last but not least, we are scoring at 1/2 inch. And 2 1/2 inches. All right, and we are done scoring. So let's go ahead and fold and burnish all of these pieces. I find it easier, especially on the little pieces, if you have the little piece on your tabletop and you hold it down with your fingers or with a ruler and fold over top of it. I have found that reduces it folding up into the small piece. But then that's the only way I know how to describe it. If you've done any burnishing, you'll understand why because this is, why is this? Nope, this was a measurement I did not fix. Dang it. All right. Please allow me one moment to remedy this. This piece is 4 1/2 by 7. I thought I had caught all of those things. And clearly I did not. Alright, where's my pencil? I need to write this down. Okay, 4 1/2 in half is 2 1/4. Now remember, on this one we have our bumps facing in opposite directions. So you want to fold and burnish so the bump is squished in between. Okay. Now, we are going to take the full size 4 1/2 by 7 and we are going to glue it to the back side of this piece. Okay, and it creates a little foot on the back. Now here is a little extra bonus for you. So A, put glue on the back here. Liquid glue is going to be your friend. And then B, I if you put your piece here, after you have your glue on it, then you can just line up your other piece on top and it's going to be perfectly square. If they're cut perfectly square. All right. Set that in the corner. I'm going to keep it pushed into the corner as well. And then lay that other piece on top. Now I am not going to burnish it on top of that because I don't want to burnish in the lines of the score board. So we have a nice sturdy back of our card. And the card is going to sit like this. Okay. So now we can do some extra gluing. And we're just going to leave our envelope to the end. Goodness, I'm just kind of making a mess here. So one of these will go here and the other one will go on the back side. So I'm just going to set those together. These will all three go together. This piece and this piece goes there. These two I'm not going to glue together just yet. Actually, those three go together. I'm going to wait on this piece though. This goes here and this will go here. All right, so let's attach some of these things that we can attach. I was going to use that, but I think this is going to be faster for me. And we're just going to center these pieces. Alright, so I am going to set this with the envelope. We may or may not use it, but I planned on this is where the stamping is going to go. So I do have a white daisy piece that is that same size. So I'm setting it off to the side for right now so that we can get the rest of these pieces ready to assemble. This really does actually go together pretty quickly. And as you saw, it looks fabulous. I love how it looks. Hardest part of the whole thing, well, if you discount the typos, right? I'm not gonna I'm not gonna count that into the hard part. But I was deciding on how to decorate the whole thing. You know, what embellishments to put on it, and what am I gonna make this card be? And so my sample, my goal was to make it something that could be kind of a universal type. I did have in my mind more New Year's than anything else, but like this card could easily be birthday, it could be new job, it could be retirement, it could be an anniversary. I mean, literally anything that you can celebrate, it would be perfect for. Now I do burnish on all of my wet glue because it spreads the glue out. It creates a better bond, and it removes any warping of the paper. Alright, so we're going to flip that over. And then we'll open this up and we'll do trying to remember if these were back to back pieces. It does not look like it. Okay. If they were pieces that were immediately next to each other, I'm just going to try and line them up a little bit. You could have added the pine matting on this backside as well, but I decided not to. Okay. Just lining everything up to make sure it's going to fit correctly. We are now ready to move on to the next bit. How exciting. We only have 3 more pieces to attach. So, I'm actually going to do things in a slightly different order than she did. So I'm going to glue this piece on first, and yes, it is larger. And I'm going to glue it so it lines up along the bottom edge here and centered, right? It's slightly larger, so we're going to center it on the card itself. found it was a little bit difficult to do things from this point on, kind of the way the order that she did them. And maybe I'm going to make it harder for myself, but I don't know that that's going to be the case. All right, so this is our card so far. It stands up by itself. So this piece, we're not going to glue it on just yet, but this piece goes underneath and attaches just right in the center to hold these two together so that it does not do that. Right? It'll be stuck so that it cannot do that. But before we do that, we need to glue this piece on. So we are going to glue it in the center. We're going to glue the larger part onto the bottom, just right in the center, and we're going to go close to, like right close to that score line, but we are not going to touch it, and we are not going to go over it. My cardstock was just slightly fuzzy there, so we need to give it a little haircut. Otis, please stop. Give me a second. I will open the door in just a second. Hold on. Joys of inside outside cuts. Okay, so this piece is then going to glue back here, but there's an easy way to make sure that it's glued in the right spot. So we are going to add glue here, and then we're going to fold this piece over, and then we're going to fold it up like that. Okay, does that make sense? Because that way, when we do that, if I put my finger there, when it opens, it's square. Right? We need it to fold flat so we can get it into the envelope. So just make sure that you're folding here, not here, all the way up. Let it set for a few seconds. And while that's doing that, we can grab this and we're just going to center this as best as we can to our eyeballs. It does not have to be perfect. See? And then, see, that's going to be the hardest part. And it's not even going to be hard. But this needs to be glued here, but it also needs to be able to fold flat. So, we're going to pull this out a little bit because we've already glued that front on, so it can't fold open the way that she did it, which is probably why she did it that way. We're going to tuck this under. I'll try to be able to show you here. So we're going to tuck this under and lay it flat, right? And then we're going to fold everything down and press on that for a few seconds. And voila. So our card is now done, except for embellishments. So let's go ahead and do our envelope right quick. And again, you want to measure the size of your envelope flap before you cut anything. That is why I did not give you a size for that. I'm telling you, starting to do it this way, so much easier. So now let's look at our embellishment options here. So I do believe that these two sheets are the exact same thing. They are. You can see it a little bit better there. So those are super fun. Not quite the exact same thing because there's snowflakes here. Let me turn off that sound. With my left hand. There we go. So they are mostly the same. We have snowflakes here and flowers over here. We do have some tiny snowflakes and some tiny flowers. We have flowers. Anyway, so there's some slight differences, but overall very similar. And then gosh, there's so much fun stuff. So this is kind of two different stickers. This actually could be a fun like photo frame. I was actually gonna just throw this away, but now I'm not going to. But we have kind of a ticket here, Cold Hands Warm Heart, and this is like a Polaroid frame. So I was kind of thinking Mary there. But now I'm not so sure. I like the winter wishes. Alright, let's bring back our I do like this. I do like that. Actually like that, I think a little bit better than this. The bonus of multiple pieces of acetate. Now, if I move this down to the bottom of my acetate. Oh my gosh, why is it sticking so much to this one? Goodness, this one is like a super glue. Goodness. Then I can put it on here. And we can kind of see. We can build as we go. And then let's bring in My hands aren't big enough. Let's bring in these white ones. Sorry, obviously that's going to sit a little bit better, but I think some berry clusters. I think you guys have probably realized by now that I do like them so very much.
Are you done?
Nope.
What?
Nope. Okay. And then I think a couple of these. Maybe we will have no stamping on this one either. Maybe some pine cones. Well, no, because those are going to show through, and I don't want the pine cones to show through. All right. So, no. So we know we want this like that. All right, set this upside down for now. All right, set that there. Oh my goodness. These like this. This on top. Yep, I like that. Okay, so this is 3 by 4. So that we have something to work off of. So this is so we don't go outside. This is the size that we're working with. And let's actually put this back on here. And we will use some micro glue dots and we'll start building. Let's since we're working white on white, can't really see. There. Now we will be able to see. These will have a little bit of stick come up through, but since they're going to be underneath the sticker, I think that'll be okay. I like it intertwined like that. That worked out really well. Accidentally, really, really well. See, now if I'd have been really smart, I would have put acetate above our little placeholder here. I could have just glued everything down that way. That's okay. All right. glue dots to make sure this is held on really well. Great way to figure out placement, because you don't want it to go up above either once you close it, because then it won't fit in an envelope. So it laying flat like it is right now, it is 5 by 7. You do want to be careful with these because you don't want to tear them. They're just paper. And they are not chipboard. And so it is possible to tear them fairly easily. I like it. Oh, I gotta de-stick this, so I am going to use my embossing pouch, which I know is not in the book anymore. I did not actually check to see if it's online anymore or not. So I am just doing this edge, and I'm burnishing it as well. That's an important part, as the powder can come off if it's not burnished on there, and then you could inadvertently stick your card closed, which would not be ideal, obviously. Should have put some twine in there. That's okay. Alright, let's glue this piece on. Things are a little bit more lumpy bumpy right now, so it's a little bit more difficult to do that very well. my friends is our card. I do kind of want to use we're going to use some of these. So these are the dots from last week's class that I have left over. And so I'm just going to put a dot. Look how perfectly that fits. Obviously, I'm not pushing down very hard at the moment because I don't have anything to push down against. So these are, in case you didn't see last week's video, was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was just last week, but now I'm questioning myself. But anyway, if you did not see it, it was a card that I designed that I did these berries on the card, the same berry style, and I cut extra just in case some of them didn't cut very well or wouldn't come out, or something along those lines, you know. And so these are perfect for this little thing. So they're white glitter paper. I keep meaning to say that, and I think I keep forgetting. And if you don't have a Cricut, you could hole punch these. Slip one underneath here. Perfect. All right. So let's actually trim our envelope, and then we will be done. Done. My scissors are buried. So that is this card. I might go back and add some twine there, just because it would work so well. And it folds up and goes right into, I'm going to flip it over because that way I'm less likely to catch anything on the envelope. And our 5x7. Oh, I told you I was going to show you how I did this. So this is 1 3/4 approximately square, and you're just going to do a lot of little trims. And you want them to be tiny, as tiny as you can get them. And had I known I was going to change how I did it, I would have kept them in a long strip and then done it that way. All right, so we have this, right? And she rolled it better than this is being rolled, but I'm just trying to show you demonstration purposes. And then kind of spread it out when she glued it down. And of course, in this instant, not very many of them are white, but when I was doing it earlier, there was a lot of white. So what I did was I then just snipped so that I had 5-ish pieces. I decided which one I liked best for the front, and so it would have been one of these larger pieces, probably this one, and then just take your glue dots. I would probably do mini instead of micro. So this one's going to be my base, so I'm going to, this one is the front, so I'm going to put that one on first, or you could do last, whichever one works better for your brain. Right, just like that. And then you just pull them off. And with the first one, you just kind of decide how wide you want it. And then the next two, you fill that in. All right, and then the top one, you just kind of, I usually go to the opposite of the last one. So the most top one right now is this, and so I'm going to do this. Right, so it gives it a little bit of dimension without any dimension. And then you just attach it to your card, kind of wherever you want to put it. All right, so that is the end of today's video. So I'm going to try to get everything in here. It's going to be a little bit harder than normal, I think. And so we have, oh, I'm going to drop them on the floor. And we have these. So thank you everybody for joining me today, whether it's on the live or on the replay. I appreciate you being here, and I I can't wait to see what you guys make with these. So let me know what you think about our wow card for today, and if you like that idea, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.